Hey everybody, Tony D with a Screenwriter's Rant on Marvel Studios' What If, the animated series. Looks to be based on the movie, the cinematic universe. And the premise of What if you've never read Marvel Comics, the What If storyline would be what if this character did something different, basically. So in this one, what if Killmonger had saved Tony Stark, right? Totally changed the history of the character, and then maybe he doesn't become Iron Man, maybe Killmonger does. And here's Stephen Strange seeing the various. Here's what if the Guardians of the Galaxy had saved New York instead of the Avengers. Here's what if, I don't know, Black Widow had to fight the Hulk, I guess. Yeah, there's all sorts of. Here's what if Loki showed up to, I don't know, kill everybody. Uh, this is Captain Carter, so it's an alternate version of what's the name? Captain America. I'm not sure that's Thor doing something, and you're just going to get alternate versions of the various characters. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be, but this is like the Guardians. I don't know, in Endgame or something. Um, is it going to be good? It might be, but this was one of the comics I pitched at Marvel for a bunch of times, and I tried to get in under the rubric. The problem at Marvel was always the problem was once the universe unraveled and the editors stopped paying attention to continuity, which they kind of did. What if didn't make any sense, right? You need a very strong continuity for what if. So you could redo all the origins, which they did. What if Spider-Man became a bad guy? What if this character became the Punisher or whatever? But in order to sustain that, you need a strong universe in which certain things are always the same and status quo, right? You need the Avengers. You need the Fantastic Four at the Baxter Building in New York. You need Spider-Man in New York. You need the Punisher running around killing mob guys. You need the universe to have a sort of default in order to be able to do what if and have it make any sense. Because if you're doing what if stories within, if you're making radical changes like, I don't know, bringing back Captain Marvel and making her Carol Danvers, you've already upset the balance. If you're constantly, virtue signaling about your various characters like they seem to be doing at Marvel, and they're doing a gala or whatever, that could have been a what if. I mean, that could have easily been a what if story, and that would have been more interesting. What if the X-Men had, formed their own country and made, that would have been a what if story back in the day. Now it's like the normal continuity, and you have to follow the continuity in order to understand it. If the continuity is simple, you can understand it, right? So you could do a series, you could probably do a season or two, maybe, based on the cinematic universe, and assume that most people follow it up to a point. But after a while, you're screwed, right? After you make Killmonger a hero, such a bad name. After you make Agent Carter Captain America, after you've done all these things, all the obvious things, then you're screwed. And that's kind of where the comic was, when I was pitching. It was like they couldn't come up with any reasons. So the other angle to go was the best all-time what if comic of all time was What If Conan made it to the 20th century. It's fantastic. If you ever get a chance to read that issue, it's pretty incredible. But so then it was like, well, what if the Marvel Universe, the ones I pitched were like, what if the Marvel heroes existed during the Civil War? Right? So the great thing about that is you can divide the characters on each side of the Civil War in America and see, where they would land and how you would do a steampunk Iron Man, et cetera, right? And that would be a fun issue, and that would be a fun episode. You do historical ones, or what if you change the things that everybody kind of knows, Um, but the problem with this is it requires really smart writing. Really smart writing and a very up to date audience. And since, in my opinion, the Marvel people are constantly engaged in remaking reality, forget about the Marvel universe. They're engaged in trying to remake your reality. Um, this isn't going to work very well for them. It might for like an issue or an episode or two. Once you get past the obvious ones, though, I think it'll crash and burn. Um, but may I assume it's going to be on Disney Plus, which I don't have, so I guess I'm going to miss it. But again, I'm not really interested in supporting Marvel right now. So that's it. Me and Little Joan, we are on Bitchute and Rumble. I did a 40-minute Hollywoke hot take today. Yeah, I'll have to say. So check that out on Bitchute and Rumble, along with the shorter news blast. And we'll check you later.